Welcome back to the Union Street Podcast. We have in the studio Caleb, aka GoodBirger on Instagram.
Hello.
Caleb, thanks for being here today.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I'm excited to talk to you.
Yeah.
We met through Instagram.
We did.
And then we met in person at the local coffee shop.
Coffee shop. Yep.
Which we love.
It's always one of those things when you see someone, you're like, oh, hey, man, I'm GoodBirger. And you're like, what? Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh,
I hate
right.
having to introduce myself like that, but, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, that's how literally we came across.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
So here we are, and I'm glad to get into your story because you have a lot, we were talking before, on Instagram,
Absolutely.
Huge followings, do a lot, huge accolades, a passion for Little Egypt.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Which is the region we're in.
Absolutely.
And we love that.
People often ask me when I reference Little Egypt on my stories, they're like, are you Egyptian? And I'm like, no, I just live in an area called Little, and it's too much to explain, but no, I'm not Egyptian.
Yeah. So we'll get into that history of Little Egypt.
Yeah.
And, just have a conversation. Okay. So I got to ask, what is behind the name GoodBirger?
Okay, so a long time ago, my Instagram handle was Free Will Burnin', which is a reference to a Judas Priest song. And I changed up what I was posting from personal stuff and stuff that I was thrifting and selling to more of knowledge of sports and sneakers, which is all I've known since 1996, 1995. All I've studied is sneakers. And I decided to change my name, go for a rebranding of sorts. And I went with GoodBirger. I was originally going to go with Charlie Burger to reference, the great Charlie Burger from Harrisburg. And instead, that name was taken. And I went with GoodBirger, which was a reference to the 90s and to GoodBirger, but also the reason it's spelled B-I-R-G-E-R is because of Charlie Burger. So it's a mix of the 90s and the past and Little Egypt all into one.
I love that. See, yeah. I love that reference. The B-I-R, Charlie Burger.
Absolutely.
That's really good. And I want to bring up your Instagram real quick just so people can see and also view what we got going on here. Because you mentioned a little bit about the sneakers, but I want to just, show, if I can, if it's going to cooperate. There we go. Just show briefly, some of the stuff you've got here. So Little Egypt Forever, obviously.
Yes.
Pro Digital Thrifter. I want to ask about that too.
Okay. Digital thrifting is what I say that I do. That's a term that I've coined. I thrifted before, and when you go thrifting, people are always looking for expensive and rare pieces that people have never seen. Well, my goal when I go out and find these pictures is to find footage and to find pictures that people maybe they have seen, but they haven't seen in a long time. And I want to bring back that memory. And basically all I'm trying to do with this is just to tap into people's memory banks and to, remember the good times. There's so much negativity on social media, so I try to be a positive light when I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a lot of history.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
There's a lot of historian, right? Of pulling images.
There's a little me right there.
Oh my gosh, right here.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was the day that my mom surprised me with Shaq shoes in 1993. And I didn't know it was coming. Christmas Day was the best day of my life up to that point.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
And so you are from Little Egypt.
Absolutely. Yes.
Harrisburg.
Yep. From Harrisburg, graduated in 2001. There's not much to say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, from there, but now having this whole global audience, right? I mean, that's
absolutely crazy.
Pretty fascinating story here.
This right here was a big one for me. Go up one more. That right there, Virgil Abloh. If you swipe over one, he's somebody that for about 2 years before he passed, he and I talked with him on a regular basis.
Wow.
He was somebody that really elevated me to where I'm at now. He would regularly share my content, share my posts. And on the second slide there, this was a really big part for me. This was last year. I just said that, he did a great job on a pair of Air Jordans. And then he blessed me with that down there, telling about how the work that I do is just as important as his. And like that right there gained me like 4,000 followers just off of that one little, piece from the legend.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, how iconic is that?
Yeah. To say that, I don't name drop. I'm not a bragger, but this is one thing that I will always brag about and always say, yes, I knew Virgil Abloh and he was a friend of mine. And I'm thankful for that. I didn't know him on the level that all these big celebrities and stuff did, but he's somebody that I got to, interact with on a daily basis. And I'm thankful for that. For sure.
Holy cow. What an impact.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, so you can read it here for those listening. He said, commenting to this post, we owe you for your depth. Your IG account goes, your work is just as important as the job I attempt to do. Wow.
Yeah. And that was 2 weeks before he passed.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
How special is that?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
None of us knew nobody knew he was sick. Nobody knew. It was like just one day I think it was a Sunday, and I was just like, I saw it come across my feed and I was like, what? I just talked to him like 4 days ago. And man, like the last message I sent him is, never was read. So.
Wow. Yeah. Dang.
For sure.
Holy cow. And for anybody that doesn't know the impact of Virgil, can you just briefly?
I mean, Virgil started in fashion in the late 2000s. He was the director for Louis Vuitton on the men's side, Off-White, you name it. He's done it in fashion in the last 15 years. He was a big deal, for sure.
That's incredible. Wow. And so that just, kudos to you to show that respect. Holy cow. I mean, that is just the epitome of fashion world right there, giving you that validation.
Right.
Whoa.
Yep. That was big for me.
That is huge. Sure. Holy cow.
That's that's literally the reason I have the accounts and the I guess the customers the clients that I do now that I run social for is because of that.
Wow. And so I want to get into that because, from your love of Little Egypt through all your accounts that you run, because I know, sort of like a social media mogul. I
think I've got 6 accounts that I, 2 for myself and 4 that I get paid for.
That's great.
So, yeah.
How cool is that? Yeah. And again, a lot of it with, the nostalgia with the NBA, sports culture, history.
Absolutely.
Right. It's a lot of that tied in. And we can go into more in depth of exactly, why this, NBA culture, nostalgia, what is it?
Sneakers, just in the last, like I said, I've been obsessed with sneakers since the mid 90s, early 90s, really. And in the last 15 years, sneaker culture has just exploded. It's everywhere. Sneakers are on. It's not just something you wear anymore. It kind of says who you are. As crazy as it is to sound. And I've been the person since, I've been into sneakers. First thing I do when I meet somebody, look at your feet. And I think it's what a lot more people do now. And just with this stuff, you're able to not only tap into people my age. I'm 39 years old. There's people my age and older that grew up with these people and grew up watching them, but maybe didn't recognize, holy crap, they were wearing the Air Zoom 95s or whatever on their feet. Whereas with the new generation, I can also educate them on, hey, this is the history of what you're wearing. If you care to know, I don't expect everybody to care about, a pair of Nike Dunks.
Sure.
But I care about that history, and I think everybody should know it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's important. History is how we got here today, right?
Yeah.
Those
100%.
Those blocks of, what came before us. If you don't know that, you're not getting the full picture.
And hopefully, I inspire somebody along the way to do what I'm doing now for the next generation, like, hey, this is what it was like. I wasn't there for it because I wasn't there for a lot of this. I post stuff from the 80s and the 70s even that I wasn't there for, but it's stuff that I know about and I care about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know we talked a little bit before, right? When did the Instagram start? Because I know you had various previous background before this, right?
Right. COVID.
Yeah.
COVID was it. I had been sharing, regular, just sneakers and all the stuff that you see here for about a year. And then, I woke up one morning, middle of COVID, well, probably at the beginning of COVID. And I just saw that I had 400 new followers, and then I refreshed it and it was another 300, and I refreshed it and it just kept being in the hundreds. And I'm like, what is happening? So I finally figured it out, and Joe LaPuma, who was the creative director at Complex, had put a picture up of himself, wearing some shoes, and he said, all I've been doing is watching The Last Dance and going to GoodBirger's feed. And from that moment, I went from a following of 2,000 to 12,000 overnight.
Wow.
And literally just that, his post doing that was what shot me into Virgil Abloh. After that's where Virgil Abloh followed me. And
holy cow.
Yeah, I got a lot of crazy blue checks that followed me that day. And it was just one of those oh my gosh, what is happening right now? So, and you know, I knew that Joe followed me, but I didn't know that he was paying attention to what I was posting, or even cared really. You know, like dudes in those positions, they don't have to talk. I always say they don't have to talk about me, the little guy. When they're in a big position like that, they don't have to acknowledge. They could just come steal my content and put it on theirs. And what am I going to do? Nothing. But I'm thankful that there's a lot of good people that are a lot more important than me out there.
Wow. And giving you that recognition again is huge with that validation.
Yeah. Yes. And like now when Complex, when they have their sneaker podcasts and stuff, they regularly reference me and my page and stuff. So that never gets old.
That's epic. Is there a clip here we can see?
Yeah, right
too?
here. Yeah.
I want to look at this clip from Complex. You mentioned the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. This is their podcast. They're, filming it like we're filming it now. So
let's take a look at this because this is.
I thought it was funny to see our friend GoodBirger throw a little.
He's back on the ground.
Throw little darts out there.
Shouts to GoodBirger, great sneaker historian.
Yeah, he digs up some amazing stuff.
I think the not a direct quote, but he was like, "Oh, it's so awesome that Jordan hit me up to make this the packaging on it."
When in fact they did not.
I thought the vintage collar was a little weird when we first talked about it, but I do think the story is getting like more in depth and better.
Although one of the funny things about it, somebody mentioned to me, was that it's interesting to pay homage to mom and pop shops in this way, if that's what they're about. When we're in this phase of Nike like pulling all the mom and pop shop old school accounts, not all of them, but full DTC push. So I don't know.
I thought it was funny to see our friend.
How cool is that?
GoodBirger.
And basically what the references is Jordan Brand has a pair of sneakers coming out next month, and hate to just throw it out there, but they stole my work. And
what?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
For their packaging and everything, something that me and another guy did a year and a half ago. They made it their packaging. Jordan Brand did for their Jordan 1 release that's coming out in November. Literally the same thing.
No way. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And so this was referencing.
This is what they're
moment.
referencing. Yeah.
Holy cow! And referencing you as a sneaker historian, a huge shout out.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, and these guys. I mean, you mentioned a little bit about it, but
I mean, they're in charge of everything at Complex. What Joe is, I mean, he's the creative. If you ever watch what's the show where the guy eats the wings with the hot sauce?
Oh right, Hot Ones.
Hot Ones. Yeah, yes. He's the creative dude behind that.
That's a huge show. Yeah, and they have their whole sneaker content with like. Yeah, they take people shopping. I've seen those.
Yeah, right? Like that's Joe. He takes everybody shopping, and that's another cool thing is like I've been fortunate enough to help him a few times. Just with pictures or whatever it may be for when he's had guests on. So
wow,
yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah, man.
I mean, that's like the top of the industry, right? I mean, that's
for sure.
That is.
Yeah, for
right?
sure. It is for sure.
So kudos to you, man, for that.
Thank you, man.
That recognition is just, I mean, that's huge for anybody out there listening. This is the big Complex is the
yeah, Complex
biggest.
Is they're the kings of what I do for sure.
Yeah, and so to have that validation again, wow, super.
And
cool.
then like this post here, this is like I love sneaker shopping back in the day. Like, Joe has his sneaker shopping. I like to post videos from sneaker shops back in the 90s so people can be like, hey, this is what it was like when I used to go to Athlete's Foot. And this is the kind of selection I had.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, all this kind of nostalgic stuff is just my bread and butter. It's therapy for me, but it's also therapy for the people that follow me. So it's cool.
Right, they can tie into that same emotion, those same memories, right?
Yeah,
they bring
a lot of
back.
us have we don't realize that even though we grew up in Southern Illinois, that we're not really that much different from the kids that grew up in the cities. We all love the same stuff, especially back then when we didn't have our phones to look at. It's like we had whatever we knew, is what we had. And a lot of us, I didn't realize how many people were actually into sneakers back then until basically Instagram about 10 years ago. I was like, whoa. These are my friends. This is my people.
Right. And that's one of the most benefits of social media is finding those online communities, those
absolutely.
Niches, right?
Yes, that is so important to, like you said, to find that niche, to find what you're good at and what people are looking for and throw it all into one. And I've kind of branched out the last year or so from just sneakers, and I throw in some, classic just hey, this is what it's like hanging out at the mall in 1993. This is what it was like going to the arcade yesterday. Last night I posted Batman opening weekend stuff from 1989, you know, like just whatever it may be, like people that I didn't know that this post was going to have a decent following. It turned out to be okay for me, you know. I didn't realize that was going to touch so many people, and it's cool. It's cool when people share their memories along with what I've shared. That's what I want to read. I want to know what other people went through. It's not just about me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that engagement, right?
Yeah,
That dialogue
yes,
is huge, and those storytelling too. I mean, people connect, and again, it takes them back to
a simpler time.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got some old footage of me and my friends, like back in the 90s. Thank God this girl, when we were in 7th or 8th grade, her final class project for one of her classes, she recorded all of us. I don't remember this at all, you know. It's 25 years ago, but she had a camcorder and she recorded us for 3 months and we didn't know it. And she released that video just 5 years ago and basically just got to glimpse back into our past. And it's something I go watch pretty often just because I can't believe that I have access to that. To see myself as a 13-year-old in 1996, 97, just what I was doing, what I was wearing. And for the record, I was wearing Nikes and a swoosh t-shirt. So, you know.
Heck yeah. You were on brand.
Some things never change. Yeah.
That's amazing. You know, and you don't get to see that. That's an artifact that, you know, you mentioned digital thrifting, people searching through. You don't find those every day.
Right.
You know, those memories, those artifacts.
That's why I live to dig. Except I just dig on the internet.
Yeah.
Never know what you'll find. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's incredible. I mean, so it's really cool. I love it. You know, I really like following along and seeing that nostalgia because I'm a big NBA fan, sports fan.
I know we've talked Pokemon and all that stuff.
Pokemon, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So all of those. My dad from Chicago, so big Bulls fan, right? So moved down here, met my mom, stayed, so I love the NBA, love this stuff, and it's really cool, and it's a great curation. I think you're a great curator.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Of images that have emotion attached to.
Absolutely.
Right?
There's a memory attached to every one of these pictures. Maybe not for me on each one of them, but somebody out there, it means something to somebody.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters.
Yeah.
You know how when we were in church, when we were kids, and they said, if we just brought one person to the Lord, we did our job. If I made one person happy, I did my job.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
That's so cool. And so COVID sort of was a springboard for some of this, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, for elevating me to this kind of status where I have a decent following. Once that hit, my page kind of got big, and then I got a job offer from Nice Kicks, and I run a side page for them called Nice Kicks Vault on Instagram, and we just hit 60,000 followers today, which is pretty cool.
That's amazing. Congrats.
Yeah, thanks, man.
That's pretty huge.
Yeah, that's in little under 2 years' time on that one.
Wow.
So,
do you want to pull that up at all?
Yeah, you can pull it up. That's fine. It's Nice Kicks Vault.
There it is.
There you go. Second one down.
Boom.
And it's a lot. You'll see it's a lot like my page, but it's strictly sneakers. It's strictly, this is where I go to not just post the picture and maybe somebody wearing it. I will really dive into the history here and tell you about the Reebok Blast.
Right here.
Or, just different shoes like that. I know that this shoe meant a lot to me, but I know that there's a ton of other people out there that obsess over this. And there's a lot of kids that are, 25 and under have never seen this pair. And they're like, what are these? And then they go and find them and they're like, wait, you can get these for under $100,
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Just little things, little snippets that people can enjoy each day, man. That's so cool. That's what we're doing here.
That's amazing. So that's awesome. And so running a lot of different accounts here.
So run that, and then I run a couple of designers out of Los Angeles, Braden Alexander, and then another one, Sebon, which is It's Good in French. So yeah, just really taking on. I guess fashion isn't a space that I ever expected to see myself in. For the record, everything that I have on right now, except my sneakers, is from Walmart. I'm just not I'm not a fashion person myself, but when somebody gives me a vibe or a look or something that they're trying to achieve for their Instagram, that's where I step in. And, I don't have to be decked out in $1,000 clothing to help somebody with their Instagram.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's awesome. That's like a unique job that has recently been an option.
Exploded.
Right?
Like I don't have a college degree. I've worked some odd jobs. I mean, I've delivered furniture for Rent-A-Center. I worked at the call center for Hyatt. I've done some terrible things that I just hated. And it's like, I never in my life thought that, I would be where I am right now, all because of social media and a pandemic.
It's like those unique historic moments, like things happen, things change, right?
It was a bad time, and it was a bad time for everybody, but it was a good time for me personally, I guess.
Yeah.
In a work sense, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome that you're able to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, to do this type of work. I mean,
it's awesome that really cool we homeschool our daughter. We have since before it was cool. Since before COVID and all that. And so it's awesome that I get to spend the time with my daughter during the day, and that I get to do this as well. And, my wife works up at City Hall here in Marion. Shout out to my beautiful wife, Samantha. I love you.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you guys are pretty close, right, to where we're studio right now, right?
Yeah, it took me a minute to drive here, literally. It was awesome. Nice. I almost walked.
Cool. Yeah.
Then I thought I'd be out of breath when I got here.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be like this on the mic.
Yeah. But, that's something, because that shows you what opportunity, from small town, Southern Illinois.
Doesn't matter where you're from.
What could be possible?
Yeah, it does not matter where you're from. I tell people that all the time. I used to be one of the people, it's like you and I talked before we got on here. When we were younger, we were told, you're better than this place. You need to leave Southern Illinois. I'm just telling everybody out there right now, if people are telling you that, if you're younger, even if you're older, don't listen to them. It's great here. There's, I've lived in Atlanta, I've lived in St. Louis, I've lived in a lot of places, I've been all over the country, and nothing beats Southern Illinois.
Yeah. It's a great place.
Yeah, it is. It really
love
is.
It. It's home. It is.
And just because we're from here doesn't mean that we can't make a name for ourselves, There's people other than me that are out there from this area doing big things right now.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see so many people being successful.
And do you think the internet really sort of opened a lot of doors for that?
Absolutely. I mean, it's like, I tell people a lot, if you would have told me when I was in high school in the 90s and the early 2000s, if you would have told me that I would have a lot of my idols, like a lot of the basketball players that I looked up to when I was a kid, that I would, like, literally just before I came in here, D Brown, who won the 91 dunk contest, I was talking to him on Nice Kicks Vault.
Wow.
And it's like, if you would have told me when I was a kid, one day, D Brown's just going to hit you and be like, hey man, what's going on? It's like, okay. Just one of those things. It really blows my mind.
That's like a full circle moment almost, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like very fulfilling.
Yes.
To have that come back all these years later.
Yeah, absolutely.
To have those interactions. And
yes.
These personal connections now.
And now that COVID's over and we've dropped the masks and all that stuff, I can start reaping these benefits and, getting to, me and my wife are going to go to see the Pacers in December, and
nice.
Know a couple guys from the Pacers that are gonna, give us that treatment.
Heck yeah!
So I'm pretty excited.
You got to.
Yeah, I mean, where else can we experience that around here? It's great that we have the Pacers, and it's great that we have, the Grizzlies down in Memphis. It's such a short drive.
It is.
It's another great thing about Southern Illinois. It's so centrally located. It's like, I always tell people, when I was a kid, I've been to Chicago twice in my life. Twice. It's in the same state. And I mean, I've been to Indianapolis, Memphis, Louisville, St. Louis. There's all so many great cities with just a short drive from here. Why do I need to go to Chicago?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Geographically, we're a lot closer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Grizzlies, Pacers, about this 3 hours.
Yeah, it's like 3.5 to Memphis and 4 to Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So depending on how bad those roads are when you're driving through Arkansas a little bit.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
People think we have bad roads here. It's bad down there.
Right. Again, it's pretty. It's not bad here. Right. It's not bad at all.
Great place to be.
Yeah. So there's first of all, that's awesome. I hope you guys have a great time at that game, and I think we'll see that, like you were saying, the masks are coming off, restrictions, COVID, we're sort of moving away, but I think, to set yourself up, during the pandemic, this all happened coming out now, hopefully reaping more benefits from that and just getting out there and
putting myself out there more, like doing this, I guess, is not something that I typically would do. Well, I've been asked to do quite a few podcasts, sneaker related. I'm just like, it's not something I'm into.
Well, I'm honored that you're.
So I've been wanting to come in this building for a long time. So
Yeah.
Everybody, if you ever get a chance, check out Union Street Arts. It's dope.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I'm thrilled that you're here and to connect in this way, because like we said, we've met online and talked briefly at the coffee shop, but it's good to dive in.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to know somebody on a personal level other than just hey, how you doing?
Right.
We'll talk to you on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's so many people around here that I know from Instagram. Like example, Brittany Brainstorm.
Oh yeah.
I just saw her coming out of Walmart the other day. I rolled down my window. I was like, Brittany Brainstorm. You just call somebody by their Instagram name because that's what you know.
Right. So you see them as.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like,
Yeah, she's great. Super talented. Awesome.
Her and her sister are awesome. Like when I was selling vintage clothes way back in the day, her sister was like my number one customer. Nice. She was always just buying the coolest stuff off of me.
Oh yeah, very fashionable.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
very
she's super hip with
cool.
it. Yeah, for sure.
She's got just big sneakers too, right?
Yeah, she's all into that stuff too. Yeah, absolutely.
She's in that culture, in that right?
Yep. They both are very important to, like as you said, like the social media in Southern Illinois. They're just doing big things.
Crushing it.
Doing big things. You know what I mean? And that's what I love to see. It's just I want to see everybody eat. It's not just about me. It's like I want everybody from around here to do something. And it's really possible just with social media.
Well, it's an example. Like this is an exact example.
And they found their niche, you know what I mean? And boom, they're knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
It's actually another guy from Marion that has a huge Instagram page called The Greatest Show on Dirt. And he has he's probably almost at 200,000 now. He doesn't live here anymore.
Really?
He's from here. And it's like, it was crazy because I love his page and I love his content. And one day he posted something. This is just like 6 months ago. He posted in his stories. He goes, what was the name of your local meat or local grocery store when you were a kid? And he posted a picture of Small's Meat Market. And I just respond, dude, you're making this up. I live like a block from there. And yeah, he's from Marion, Illinois. So It's crazy to find out that there is actually other people from here doing cool things.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
Yeah.
That's so neat. And getting that online platform.
Yeah.
Right. That changed a lot. Right?
It does.
It really does.
It really does.
And and there's other opportunities that will come, right? You don't know what someone might see,
I never thought I would be getting into marketing for people, It's like I don't have a marketing degree. But yeah, I'll do that for you. I know what I'm doing. I don't have a piece of paper on my wall, but I can help you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
That's inspiring for anybody listening. Like, you can do it. You can make something happen.
Yep. Absolutely.
This is proof in that right there.
Yep. 100%.
And so I think it's awesome. So congrats on everything you've been able to accomplish with this. I do want to touch on, again, Little Egypt, right?
Yes.
So can we talk about that?
Can we
pull up
my history. Just Southern Illinois _ is the page. There we go.
Here we go.
So I had another page that was History of Little Egypt, and I just go and I look for pictures, and I have an obsession with old newspapers. I love diving into old newspapers, and I originally started doing that for sneakers, but then it's become nothing but local stuff for me. I've kind of ditched the sneaker part of it, and I just dive into local history.
Wow.
I just started this page up like maybe 2 months ago. And
something like this old paper.
Yeah, like here, this is example. This is talking about Steve Fisher, who coached the Fab Five at Michigan. He coached Kawhi Leonard in college. He's from Heron, Illinois.
Really?
Born and raised in Heron, Illinois.
I did not know that.
Yeah. We have so much history here, and a lot of it is basketball. Like Michael Jordan's second NBA coach and his last NBA coach, Doug Collins, is from Benton. Jerry Sloan, who coached the Jazz for years, is from McLeansboro, Illinois.
Wow.
there's so much history here that goes beyond buildings. And I don't think people realize that we have so many important people throughout history that are from here. You know, civil rights activist, comedian Dick Gregory went to college at SIU, holds a lot of track records over there. There's a lot of cool history that we have here, and I like sharing it just as much as I like sharing sneakers.
Absolutely.
That's the one thing I'm probably more passionate about than sneakers is the history we have here.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, I love it. And it's really something I just got into within the last 10 to 15 years. I read a book called Murder in Little Egypt when I moved back here, and it was about a doctor from Harrisburg who murdered his sons for insurance money. And this was just like late 70s, early 80s.
Wow.
And like people in my family knew him. And just a crazy book. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but it's a great book if you ever want to read it. Murder in Little Egypt.
Holy cow.
But there's a lot of history here, and like this page here, it really just goes through history, Carbondale, Marion, Murfreesboro. If it's south of Mount Vernon, I'm going to cover it.
Definitely. So for anybody that doesn't know what we kind of talked about before, Little Egypt, why is this area Little Egypt? Known as Little Egypt.
Just because of like where we are with the rivers meeting down at the bottom. They always compared the land in Cairo, down there, Cairo. It's named after Egypt in Cairo, and where that land meets, it bears a close resemblance to Egypt itself. And and we've been Little Egypt since the early 1800s, late 1700s, whenever they really started settling in Cairo.
That's amazing.
So
now we have the Salukis.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And there's a lot of Little Egypt.
There's a lot of Egypt that goes into our history. And like I said, people have asked me, are you Egyptian? No, man, I'm not Egyptian. I'm just referencing where I live.
Southern Illinois.
It's way cooler than calling it Southern Illinois. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. It's intriguing. I really like this one here.
Oh yeah, gotta have.
This is
everybody's past. And if you're from Southern Illinois, you know this guy.
Toyota Mitsubishi, where we sell more Toyotas.
I remember this.
Yeah. And like, I rember being like a kid and seeing him at like Applebee's and being like, that is Dan Walters' mom. It's like I saw somebody from TV. The first person I saw from TV was him.
Wow.
And it was like, whoa, that's the dude that's selling cars. And of course, when we were walking out, my dad walked by, you come and see us.
Of course. That's it. That's it right there.
Yeah, exactly. If you want Southern Illinois in a nutshell, it's Dan Walters. But I was very disappointed to find out that Dan Walters actually hawks cars for Toyota all over the South and the Midwest. He's not just Marion. Like, I was in Nashville visiting a friend like 10 years ago, and Dan Walters came on TV. I go, what's he doing down here? And he goes, that's Dan Walters. I go, well, yeah, it's Dan Walters. I go, how do you know Dan? He goes, Dan's been slinging cars here for 30 years. I was like, I feel betrayed.
I thought it was
just us. It's not just us.
Wow. I didn't know he had that kind of national, regional.
Alabama, Tennessee, you name it. I found some Dan Walters commercials all over the place.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
He's a traitor.
That's funny.
But I like
staple of my life.
Yeah, exactly. It really is. It's a staple of our lives. It is. You come and see us. You know, it's something that I still say to this day.
We're easy to find. Highway 13, just west of I-57, across from the new mall. You come and see us.
The new mall. The new mall. That's my favorite part of that.
Wow.
Is the new mall, 1991, and like I can remember when, you know, the mall had just been built, and I wasn't allowed to go past the center, like the food court. It's like you cannot go past there without your parents. So I had to wait for my pick because I can actually remember, and it's hard for people to believe that place was once busy, but it was once the place to be. That's where a lot of my love for sneakers grew and started, was at that mall. I was just going to the stores and I will never own this, but man, this is cool.
Yeah. It's like the Finish Line.
Yeah,
right?
Finish Line. They had Finish Line, Foot Locker. There was a place there for like 2 years in the late 90s, and it was called like Athletic Alliance or something. I don't remember the name of it, what it was called exactly, but that was the place that had like the really cool stuff that they had in the cities, and it didn't last long here because stuff was too expensive. You know, we don't live in a place where everybody can go and buy. I mean, my parents weren't buying me $100 sneakers when I was a kid. So, you know, $90 and below, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Cry all you want. That's what you got.
Yeah.
now I go buy all that stuff that I couldn't get when I was a kid.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah,
well, now you can. So yeah, that's amazing.
We've got, I posted here the other day. I did not know this.
This one?
Now go up a little bit. One more. Okay, back here in 2003.
This one?
Yeah, the Saluki basketball team was on MTV.
What?
True Life.
You're joking.
No.
What?
I've been here for a little under 10 hours.
And it's crazy to see 2003 MTV coming to Little Carbondale, Illinois to film. It's like an hour-long show about the SIU basketball team and what they were going through in 2003 to get to the NCAA tournament.
How cool is this?
Yeah. So I love going and finding this kind of stuff and, showing it to people that either forgot about it or maybe, weren't around for it.
I just didn't know.
Yeah.
Is that Kent Williams?
Yeah, it's Kent Williams. Look at you.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, man. He actually has a pretty lengthy story about him on this show. It's pretty neat. Yeah,
he was a stud. I think from Mount Vernon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Mount Vernon Rams.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's some good history.
I've got a lot of videos and stuff on there like this. I've got videos of like driving through Carbondale in 1987. Driving to Carbondale in 1994. There's not as much out there about Marion as I'd like there to be, but there's a lot of Carbondale stuff out there.
A lot of Carbondale. Yeah, this university, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've found some footage of JFK going through Marion and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, he came and he spoke at the square.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the City Hall building and stuff behind him, like where he's speaking and everything. It's pretty neat.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's iconic as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
yeah.
So it's so important to have these artifacts in a place.
Yes. And there's pages like these that are on Facebook, but I mean, I don't even have Facebook anymore. I haven't had Facebook in 3 or 4 years.
Sure.
There's a whole group of, youth around here, and not even just youth, people that haven't seen this stuff. And it's just like the sneakers and whatnot. I take just as much pride in this as I do in that.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of meaning here. A lot of this, like, I mean, just, you're not going to find this. I mean, where are you pulling from? Are you looking online? Are you looking at places?
I pull online. I mean, everything that I find is something anybody can find. You just have to know how to do it. And I say that I didn't realize how in-depth searching the internet could really, really be. And now that I figured it out, it's like, oh my gosh. I mean, there's stuff like, oh, I never thought to pull from there. I'm pulling from new place every day. This is what I spend probably 2 to 3 hours a day pulling images.
Wow.
And just saving for the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gonna have my content ready to go.
Yeah, sure.
And especially like with running as many accounts as I do, it's like I have to have everything lined up. It's not just something I can wake up and be like, okay, I'm going to, wing it.
Right. Fly by the seat of your pants. I mean, that's a lot of accounts, a lot of followers, a lot of people expecting, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's rewarding work, and it's something that I'm able to do from home and still, be with my family and be with my daughter.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is living the dream, right?
I think that's what everybody wants eventually, was to work from home and to be with their family, and to be able to do that around here is a blessing for sure.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because I mean, if this hadn't happened, if I didn't have this, I mean, I would probably be working, Home Depot or something, just whatever I could be doing. Like I said, I don't have a college degree other than this kind of stuff here. What do I have to offer?
Well, you found a good niche here.
I did. I'm thankful for it.
Yeah.
Very blessed.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it is a lot of Carbondale, Marion.
There's a lot of Carbondale, Marion. This one up here, let's see here, go up.
Right here?
No, one more.
This one?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. Okay. So this is the building that's right up here, the Goodall building.
Yes.
The little staircase that goes down the side?
Mm-hmm.
That's what used to be in there, was the gym cafe.
Okay. Wow.
And it's one of those things like, I've always seen those steps and stuff going down there, and then to actually, I think there's some slides in there that you can see like down into the,
Oh, wow.
Just
holy cow.
Advertisements from the gym cafe.
Uh-huh.
There's the
oh my
little
gosh.
steps. Isn't that crazy?
Holy cow, that car is so cool.
It's all so awesome, man.
Wow.
I want to know what happened to that sign.
No kidding. It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's it.
And there
gone.
it is now. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But from what I understand, the people that are moving in there are going to be utilizing that space, and it has been used in a long time. So I'm really excited about the businesses that we have coming in up around here. Like, is it Granny Puckett's or something?
Yeah.
That's going in there, and then Little Nashville is renovating the building up there, and then they've been taking bids on whatever they're going to do with City Hall. Hopefully that's something cool. I really legitimately think we have some exciting thing. I can't believe that it's awesome to be saying that we have exciting things happening where we live, and we really do.
It really is, and like this whole, and it goes into the historic neighborhood,
yes.
right? That's a cool aspect. And
Absolutely.
like you said, the business coming in.
We've got so many businesses
right?
coming in, man. It's really neat.
Yeah, so I just love the neighborhood vibe.
Yeah.
More neighborhood vibe,
Yes.
right?
I mean, we live like a quarter mile away. It's all within walking distance. So I'm like, me and my family being able to benefit from stuff, that kind of stuff is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's from Seasoning Bistro, apparently.
Yeah, from what I hear.
From what I've heard.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. We got to get them in.
Man, we got Pookie's over here, but
Yeah.
we need another restaurant up around here on the square. I know we have Tower Square Pizza, but we need something besides pizza. No offense to Tower Square Pizza.
Sure.
They have great pizza.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited. In this building, this is just, hopefully, like, to have something like this repurposed down in that space.
Yeah, that'd
just be
amazing.
It's a historic time in this cool photo. Bird's eye view.
That is like, okay, so there's that building there has been torn down. That's the bank now. So this is early 1900s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It says 1900 on the building, so it's been this has been there since then.
Yep. 100%. It's
holy cow.
It's cool seeing all the different views of downtown and just the area in general. How some really haven't changed, because that Goodall building really, that top half of it is the same.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me.
Yeah, it's incredible to see that undertaking of that project of bringing that building back to something that's...
I like that they're doing that, and that they're updating it, but they're also respecting the integrity of the building itself and not painting over anything. That's the Goodall building. You're going to leave it the Goodall building.
Sure.
Or I'm going to be one of those activists that go down there and chains myself to the building. You are not touching this.
You're going to super glue your hand.
Yeah, super glue my hand to it.
Make a statement.
Yeah, make a statement.
Right.
Whatever that means.
Get a can of soup.
And throw it on the building, and then super glue my hand to it. That'll show them.
Yeah, that might be effective. We'll see.
Well, maybe.
Stir some commotion.
Yes.
But you see that a lot, and I think that's, again, that nostalgia, that history, that historic value. It's just so important to hold on to that, right? And to keep that alive.
There's nobody on earth that was here when that building was built. That building has outlasted all of us. And chances are it's going to outlast you, and it's going to outlast me.
Yeah.
So hopefully somebody listening, or my daughter or somebody, will care about that stuff like I do, and can tell that next generation, hey, this is the Goodall building. The Gym Cafe used to be downstairs,
Yeah.
Stuff that most people don't care about, but somebody out there, they care.
Right.
Promise.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I care, you know, and there's a lot of people that do.
Yeah.
A lot about this. Again, that history, keeping that alive.
This is cool. This is a house in the early 1900s in Heron, and it's still there.
Holy cow.
You can obviously see it's the same house. It's just completely different.
Horse and buggy.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Oh, speaking of, there's another talented person who's doing cool things right now. Taste of Balance.
Yes. Yeah. Shout out Alicia.
Yeah, she's into sneakers and stuff. My wife used to go up to the hub after work every day, and Alicia, I think, was in charge of like a contest or something they were doing there, and she'd always back, there's this girl there who has cool shoes, and it was her.
Cool.
So yeah, but I
cool
see
connection.
her. Yeah, I see her doing some cool things now too.
Absolutely, she's got a meal prep type of business going on, clean, healthy food. So I think that's a cool, awesome thing she's got.
It's something that's definitely not in this area. She's tapped into a niche and found it, and she's killing it.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, she's great for sure.
Yeah, these old homes. it's just like you said.
I mean, the house that I live in was built in 1910. And what I haven't been able to find too much about the people that lived there before me, but I did find in the newspapers that back in like the 1930s that they had prayer revival there every Tuesday and Thursday, which makes sense because our living room and family room are all kind of connected.
Cool.
It's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Looks kind of like a church in there in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, again, knowing that history, I mean, that, because, the space, these buildings, that history, I mean, that's still there. That's still in the walls. That whole vibe, if you will, is like, it's there. That history's baked in.
Crown Brew across the street, their building. I've been in that building before they had it, and what they did to it from where it was is like just mind blowing to me. But I also got to see them do their old building in Carterville. From the start too. So that was really cool to see, and to see, going back to people who are just doing awesome things. Josh and Jared.
Absolutely. Yep. Those guys are awesome. What a
I always see it's funny because like I don't see I used to work at the space next to Crown Brew in Carterville. Oh, wow. And so I got to see them, start from the beginning and all that. But I don't see Josh as much as I used to, but in like the last 3 weeks I've seen him every Friday or Saturday at Target. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, this is the only place I ever see you, but good to see you again.
I see you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that building, I mean, yeah, that's, wow, what a rehab. And I think they're winning an award for it.
Yes, they got some recognition from, I forgot what it was, but I do remember seeing they got some historic.
It was Landmarks, Illinois.
Something like that.
I think it's a group out of the Chicago area, and now giving them recognition because it's a gym. I mean, stunning what they've done there. And great vibe, great atmosphere.
Yep.
Can't say enough. Shout out Crown Brew. I mean, that's an amazing story, and such a, wow. I feel like that has been such a draw for this whole neighborhood.
It was, man. It was crazy too, because when we lived in Carterville, we lived about the same distance from Crown Brew that we do now.
Wow.
And so they came to this neighborhood like 2 months after us, and I was like, oh, I see what y'all are doing. I see.
All right. Okay. Follow me here.
Influencing.
There you go.
Yeah. No, they're, again, just so many people around here doing awesome things. It's just great to be a part of that little community.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's a small town too, so like you get to see them at Target.
That's the cool shop, thing. Right? You see everybody, and you can't say that in cities. It's like you got to schedule up. Oh, hey man, I just saw so and so at the stoplight.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, a lot of my followers on Instagram, what city do you live in? Oh, no, I don't live in a city. I live far from the city.
Yeah.
I live in a town of 20,000 where other people come to get their stuff.
Right. Right.
And that's the city I live in.
Right.
Marion, Illinois is my city.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, going back to the mall, that commerce place, right? Yeah. People come from other small areas.
People come from all over, even Harrisburg and, farther, coming here to do their shopping.
Yeah.
So it is.
And hopefully.
So the hub is an appropriate nickname if you really think about it. Because
Yeah. Totally.
And for the record, where Little Nashville is going, there used to be a clothing store there called the Hub back in the 1920s.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Hub Clothing.
Now that's an interesting historic tie.
I've got it somewhere on here.
Do you? Yeah. Wow. We can find it. Now that is amazing.
Let me see here. I might have just do it on. I did a Little Nashville post just recently. Scroll up. I don't remember what it was.
Let's see. This one?
No, it's Mary Lou's. I don't know what happened to it, but I did a little Nashville post, and I put a little bit of their history. If you grew up at in the area in the 90s and the 80s, you probably went to a party at the Great Skate Train, which is the building. It's still there. It's been a number of different things, but it's in between Marion and Carbondale.
Really?
And
classic.
This is one of the coolest videos I've ever found, because it takes inside the Great Skate Train, and so many people were just floored by, like, I can't believe that I'm in here right now. It's like literally walking into this place in 1993 and
holy cow,
seeing how we were living back then. Nobody had their faces buried in their phones. We were all just living in the moment and
wow,
trying to impress whoever while I play foosball, you know?
Right. I mean, again, these historic artifacts, I mean, getting into the mind, getting into that feeling of what it was like here, those memories, that nostalgia, different time. Like, it's so important to keep those.
To see it, you know what I mean? To see it again and not really relive it, but just to watch it. It's a feeling. A lot of it is something I can't describe.
Yeah.
Because even though this isn't me and this isn't my friends, I still feel something from this because I went to the Great Skate Train. I went to birthday parties at the Great Skate Train. I remember that place. I've busted my butt coming around this corner 5 times because I can't skate, you know?
Right. It could have been you.
Yeah,
right?
It could have been me. I could have been at that party, you know, and just didn't know I was at the party.
Right.
Very good possibility.
Wow. I mean, that's awesome. And this is, you said, between Marion and Carbondale.
Marion and Carbondale, the building's still there. It's at the intersection, the last intersection before you get to Carbondale.
Actually, you know what? Yes. Yes. Okay.
Side.
I'm with you. Yeah. No, I've been there. And I think even more, I think it's still, right? Is there still skate there?
I don't know. It's not skate anymore. They used it for office buildings or something.
I gotcha. Very
there's
interesting.
The Williams County Historical Society.
Oh, wow.
And that is all these boxes over here. This is during Prohibition. And this is after a raid overnight, they got a bunch of liquor and they were dumping it all out.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Holy cow. I know there's a big history with Prohibition. You mentioned Charlie Berger.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That whole era.
Charlie Berger fought the KKK and drove the KKK away.
Wow.
So I'm a pretty big fan of Mr. Berger.
Yeah, that's badass.
Yeah. And I have a cool, actual connection to Charlie Berger. So Charlie Berger, if you see pictures of him, he doesn't have his ring finger. It's missing from here down. So there's a book about Charlie Berger called The Night of Another Sort. And in the book, it talks about him punching a man in the mouth uptown in Harrisburg in the 1920s, and he knocked the dude out, but the dude's tooth gashed his finger really bad, and gangrene set in, and he had to have it amputated. That man was my great grandpa, so I can say that my great grandpa was the reason that Charlie Berger had his finger amputated.
Wow!
Yeah, that's one of my favorite stories to tell by far.
What an amazing connection! Yeah. Your great grandpa,
yes, Earl Estes, the fleet-footed Earl Estes. Tooth is the reason that Charlie Berger lost his finger.
Holy cow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's an incredible tie-in there.
And that S. Clark art that commented right there, that's my stepmom. She does some really cool art.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
She does a lot of the local, she's into the local stuff as well, so
nice.
She takes a lot of these images that I find and brings them to life.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah, dude. She's
very cool.
She's doing it up too.
Nice.
For sure.
Check that out. Wow. Yeah, that Prohibition. I mean, that is sort of, you know.
And this is actually I went and found the news article from that picture.
Wow.
That's the stuff that I really
sort
get.
That cross-reference there?
Yeah, that's the stuff that I really nerd out over is okay, I found this picture. I have a time frame, and I was able to pull this up from.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
And that's
And
wow.
Glenn Young is, he was killed in a shootout in Heron. So, I mean, there's just some important names, just in this little article. It's pretty crazy, yeah. Back when we were the rough, tough, dirty South of Illinois.
Right, and the whole Bloody Williamson, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, so the Prohibition, the Klansman,
Glenn Young played a big part in the Heron Massacre.
Wow.
Yeah,
really?
Pretty cool stuff to find that.
Holy cow. It's important. It's so important to know these things because they don't really teach.
Yeah, see, there it is. The raid was led by Glenn Young, the man that Charlie Berger killed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, man.
That is amazing.
Love that stuff.
Yeah, in the old jail, right?
Yep.
So.
And you can go there now. The Williamson County Historical Society has amazing things that you can see and touch that aren't in a digital world. That if you like Southern Illinois page, go to the Williams County Historical Society because they've got the real history.
Yeah.
You know, the stuff that I talk about, they can show you physically, and that's cool.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Not every community has that.
No.
Right?
I mean, Harrisburg really doesn't have this kind of thing. And it's like to live somewhere that cares about what came before them and is trying to put it out there. I have a lot of respect for that.
Puts a value on that, right?
For sure.
In that preservation of that history, of those stories, right?
Yep.
It gives identity, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It ties in so much meaning.
Let's see if there's any other good ones. Okay, back down in the middle there, the warning escaped prisoner. That was 1975, I believe. They had 4 inmates that killed a security guard and escaped. And those were the signs that they put up around the area. That's the curve that's going out towards Goreville. But yeah, telling people not to pick up hitchhikers.
Yeah, it's a Marion Penitentiary.
Yeah, Marion Penitentiary. It's now just medium security, but at one time it was, maximum security. That's where they sent the worst of the worst. A cool connection that the prison has is, we have Ray Fosse Park here in Marion. Ray Fosse was a catcher for the Oakland A's, who had his career, cut short because Pete Rose ran him over in the All-Star game. When Pete Rose got arrested for doing all of his stuff with gambling and baseball, he served his time in Marion, Illinois. Ray Fosse got the last laugh.
Right.
I love that.
Right? You ended the career? Well,
we're in Marion. You're in Marion now. There's probably somebody named Fosse working at this prison right now. Watch out, buddy.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible. And that's a big, I think some gangsters, right, have been held in max security.
I mean, they've had people from, terrorist groups. As a matter of fact, the guy that Russia wants to trade for Brittany Griner is at Marion.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge.
Yep.
I mean, that's like international.
Yeah, he is. It's crazy. Like when they were talking about making that trade like a month ago, we were sitting at home and we heard 2 like woo, woo, like jets fly over, and I was like, I wonder if they're going to pick that guy up.
They're coming for the trade.
They're coming for that. I forget his name now, but yeah.
Holy cow!
He's in Marion.
That is something.
Kind of scary.
Yeah, just
a little bit.
What's around the corner, right? But hopefully,
right through those woods.
Pretty secure, hopefully.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think they got some good guys out there.
Good. Yeah. That's awesome. Wow. How cool is that?
Yeah, just there's so much on here on the Southern Illinois. Just there's this one down here is Carbondale in 1987.
Let's check it out. What? This is University Shopping Center?
That's the strip.
The strip.
Gatsby's and stuff was down there.
Okay, yes. Yeah. See, my parents went to SIU.
Okay.
They tell stories all the time about the strip. And so to see it.
This is probably how your parents remember a lot of it too.
Right. So this is just like Quattros. My favorite.
Yeah, 549-5326.
Exactly. Can't ever forget it.
No. Ingrained in our brains.
Right. So to see it like
and that hasn't changed.
Right.
Dairy Queen. It's still literally the exact same. That's the cool thing about this video is a lot of this really hasn't changed. Rest in peace to Boobies.
Boobies. R.I.P.
Love that place.
Yeah.
Love going and getting a good sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Iconic Southern Illinois, Carbondale.
Not a big drinker, but I always enjoyed going to Carbondale just for the experience. You know what I mean? It's something you can't replace.
PK's still there.
Yep.
Still hasn't closed. One day probably.
Nah, they'll never close.
365.
PK's will outlive everybody in Southern Illinois.
Yeah.
They'll be here in 100 years.
Open every day.
Yep.
Right,
Being the friendliest bar in town. You wouldn't expect it to be, but it's the friendliest bar in town.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think they just had a show last night. Bunch of rockers.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They absolutely did.
Yeah.
Saw who did I see was playing there?
Now Wally,
Hans
right?
Predator,
Hans
think,
Predator.
was playing.
Yeah.
Shout out Evan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Cool stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, this stuff is again so awesome to have on record.
Gotta love where we're at. Gotta love where we're at and the history behind it.
Totally.
It's cool, man.
So I gotta ask, why is it so important to keep these documents Hold on, look at this thing. Hold on, real quick.
Oh man, look at that. The Marion Mall at its prime, when my dad would drive around the whole place looking for a parking spot. I'm going to find one closer. No, you're not. Just park.
Look at all those cars. Oh my god.
There was you can see over here on the left-hand side, there was a fair or something happening that day too.
Oh wow, yeah.
But like on the back side, all of the cars that's Target, all the cars, it's filled. And then that's all the people that are inside. It just blows my mind that that's all the people that were in there on this day.
Holy cow.
Almost every spot filled. It's absolutely crazy. I'm glad they're doing something with it. It's good that it's not being wasted.
Right, not just sitting there.
Yeah, for nothing. Yes.
Can become.
Be cool if they'd open a retro mall, but what would be the point of that? We just closed one of those.
Yeah.
That's basically what it was. It was a mall that was trapped in time, and
yeah,
it was never updated when they closed it and everything. All the stuff in there was original. I love that about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder.
Really cool.
I wonder if they'll keep some of that, like the skylights.
I think they,
right?
yeah. From what I understand, they've kept a lot of the skylight stuff and that color.
It's almost like the iconic imagery of
it really is of the era.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a mall in, I forget where it's at, but there's another mall north of us that's a literal twin copy of this mall by the same designer, and it has like the same layout and everything. It's here in Illinois.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Man, that is, 90s, right? This is from the 90s.
91, 92.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thankful I can remember back that far.
Yeah.
I'd only been like 9-10 years old, but
yeah,
good times.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
So I got to ask you, why is it important to keep this history alive, to remember, to share this with the community? Why does that matter to you?
Matters to me because the people that came before us, even if they aren't here, they matter. No matter what they are, who they were, what they were doing, they served a purpose while they were here and while they were in our area. And a lot of these buildings and a lot of this stuff isn't here anymore, but the memories attached to those places are still there. Like, example, yes, that's just a Western sizzling, restaurant. But I had so many family meals after church or whatever inside that Western sizzling. So whenever I drive by that building, yes, that building is there and it's vacant. But when I drive by there in my head, I still smell, the $8.99 subpar buffet that I swore was the best buffet I've ever had. You know what I mean? Right. It's like, I know the food was not great, but that food was great.
Yeah.
And all of these little stories, there's so many little stories just attached to each picture, and that's important. It really is. It's just the meaning that it has, and like I said, not to me, just to other people too. It's not just about me sharing what I think is important. It's like Jill here. She remembers they had the best teriyaki chicken. I guarantee you that teriyaki chicken was horrible, but Jill knows that it was the best.
Right. She has that memory
attached
to that place, and I'm sure that brings back other memories, other emotions that are associated with that time.
It's like, when you think about being there, it's like, yes, you remember about the food and going there, but you also remember, yes, that my grandpa was there with me, and the people that aren't with me anymore that were in my life, they were there with me, and how important and how special that was. That's the things that I really like to touch on is, those that aren't here, but their story and their memory deserves to live on.
That's great.
For sure.
That family, right? You mentioned before.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter who, if it's family, whatever. Like, there's so many important historical figures just in our area that just need, maybe not told about, because some people do know about them, but they definitely need to be brought back up.
Is there any at the front of your mind?
What's that?
Any person, any story that you think, hey, this doesn't have enough attention to it, or that you personally just think is interesting, fascinating, something that...
Man, that's such a loaded question. There's so many examples that I can give of, like, just not only people from the area. Example, like I have, this is in 1982 or 83, I can't remember when it was, but George Bush Sr. came and toured the coal mines in southern Illinois. And my grandpa was the safety instructor at Brushy Creek Coal Mines, and he got to give President Bush, basically a tour of the coal mines and underground. It was just him, the president, and 2 other people. And I've got the coal suit and everything that President Bush wore that day.
No way.
Yeah, it was one of the things that my grandpa gave me. Wow. But there's just little things. There's so many presidents that have visited here that you don't hear about. So
what an honor.
Yeah.
Right?
That's cool. JFK, there's been so many people. When I lived in Carterville, there was a train track that went. It didn't go there anymore, but you could see where train tracks used to be behind our house. And my wife's grandma had said that I think it was maybe Roosevelt or somebody had came right through those back on that train. He did it's called a whistling stop tour. And presidents and important people used to go on whistle stop tours throughout the country on these railroads, and they would go through small towns like Carterville and like Marion, and they wouldn't stop, but they would slow that train down 10, 15 miles an hour, and they would wave at everybody as they went through.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so we've had a lot of those come through here too.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of rail too. I wish they would utilize it more.
I know, right?
I just hate when it blocks me going through town.
Right.
The worst.
There used to be, was there a Little Egypt Railroad?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
From Harrisburg?
There's been, at one point, there was railroad that went there was a daily line that ran from Carbondale. I don't know if it ended in Marion or if it ended in Crab Orchard. It ended in one of the two. But there was a daily line that ran 4 or 5 times a day, and it was 10 cents, and you could ride it said it took an hour and a half to get from Carbondale to Marion on this, slow train going. But hey, you were going from Carbondale to Marion, and if it took me an hour and a half to get to Carbondale to Marion and I was riding a cool old train, I'd be cool with it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
I wish they still had that.
I do too.
I mean, that is something that would be huge.
And the tracks are still there, you can see them going through town, and I think they just do training on those tracks that are over here by the depot. Mm-hmm. Got some old pictures of the depot on there too from the early 1900s.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That go up on those. I think I just posted that. Right there.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, that's the train depot in 1916.
Holy cow. And it looks kind of similar.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than the horse and buggy.
Right. 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 I don't think the Amish drive that far into town.
I don't think so.
But yeah, that structure has been through damages and stuff, but it's still the base of what's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool images of the old train depot that are out there. People, literally people just getting off their trains from probably, going from work in Carbondale to Marion or whatever. Just it's crazy to see all that stuff and how a lot of the area behind it hasn't changed.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, it goes into those historic structures. They were here, been here a long time.
Yes, that's one thing I'm thankful. One of the many things I'm thankful for about being here is that we've got people that care about those structures and want to preserve them and keep that history alive.
Because a lot have been burned down, torn down, right?
And there's been a couple that have been torn down in the last couple of years, but they were to the point of you really couldn't do anything. It's sad to see them go, obviously. Like the press building that was next to John Brown's. That kind of makes me sad that that's just a parking lot now. But nobody could move into that building. There was nothing that could be done with that building. It was beyond repair. And it's sad, and it was cool to see there, but at least they're getting something out of that space now. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So when it becomes, a threat to the public, because I had definitely been by there before and seen some crumbles, come down and be like, oh, well, I'm going to walk on this side of the road.
Yeah. Don't go under there.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
You can see the floor, but you can see the sky, right? When it gets...
Let's not do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Hopefully it can be utilized, maybe bring more traffic to John Brown's or to that area over there. You mentioned what's in City Hall, what could be there.
City Hall has been a number of things in the past too, so it would be there's so many things that can be done with that building. It's such a unique building. And it's
great
cool.
Spot.
Yeah, and it's cool to see them going over to the bank too, to get into that space and the history that's in that bank. So yeah. That's really cool. There used to be a hotel that sat there until 1940 when it burnt. And there was a big 4-story hotel and burnt that whole block down.
Wow. Yeah. A lot of fire. That's another thing about history, weird. Right?
And like Little Nashville, the building that it's going to has been not destroyed, but the innards of it have been destroyed by fires.
Wow.
Yeah, a couple of times.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
It's a theme. It's just like old buildings.
Marion fires.
It just burned. Wow. Fascinating stuff here. So yeah, I mean, keeping those stories alive, right? Those memories going, right? So that is a huge part of what all this is about, right? And more people need to know about it, really.
Yes, the big talking bear at the Marion Mall. So I literally just figured this out when I was posting this picture a while back. You could go talk to that bear, and the bear, like, you would say something, and like the first time I remember it was like, said something I shouldn't have, and a little boy shouldn't talk like that. So I finally figured it out. Yeah, there's a dude. He had to be sitting inside that box.
Oh my gosh, no
and
way.
Yeah, it had and because his mouth and stuff would move, but he knew everything that was going on. That bear did, and it was just like. So it's like as soon as that first time, it was like you never said anything cross to the bear. Hey, Mr. Bear, how are you?
Oh my gosh, what a cool little thing though as a kid, right?
Yeah,
like talking to this bear.
That's right outside of Dillard's.
Wow,
like
you can kind of see
when you walk out
some of those light fixtures we were mentioning, right? That iconic imagery that comes to mind.
Yeah,
it looks the same, right?
Really does.
That's really cool. Amazing number of stores they had back then. I think about this bear constantly.
Yeah, that was a big one for a couple people. It's just like, I can definitely remember that bear knowing what I was thinking.
Let's see if we got a slide here.
It was just the mall directory back in the day.
Yeah. Very cool.
November 91.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's iconic, right? Those pillars. So I got Sears, Target, Dillard's here.
Target and Dillard's just still pushing through.
Yeah, still it's
amazing.
Still selling, you know, all kinds of stuff. I mean, Target, I remember going to Target. I mean, that is such a thing. Like,
yes,
go to the movies, go to Target, right?
Yep. Yes.
As like either in junior high or, you know.
It's important. It is an important part of our childhood.
People don't know that cultural value that Target holds.
Yes. It's like I just said the other day. I just said I only place I see Josh Bentone is a Target.
There you go.
You know,
right?
It is literally, it's a meeting grounds.
It really is. Yep. And people that might not understand that to its full extent, but it really
it is
has that place in the community.
Being in a small town, you definitely you run into, you cannot avoid people here. Yeah. You're going to see somebody that you maybe not necessarily want to see at some point during, the next couple of weeks.
For sure.
Go down this aisle.
Yeah, that's like it's that double-edged sword, right? It's a good way in some regards, but another way it's like,
I mean, I don't have a bunch of enemies or people that I don't like, but I mean, I'm sure there are people that are, you know what I'm saying?
Sure. Wow, super cool here. I love this nostalgia.
Back in the day, we had Metallica come here.
Oh, wow.
At SIU.
The arena.
Mm-hmm.
Well. You don't like that kind of shit?
Just a bunch of him cussing and then him starting to rock out.
Nice. I mean, so many different shows came through that arena.
My first big concert was at the arena in 1999 or 2000. I went and saw Red Hot Chili Peppers and Foo Fighters.
Gosh,
there.
Two of my favorite bands ever.
Got grounded. I was not supposed. That was my strict instructions. Like, I was not supposed to go to that show. I went to that show.
Oh my gosh.
My parents did not want me to go, and I was like, I left a note, and I was just like, I went to. It was back in the day when we didn't have cell phones, and it's like, what I was at the show. What are you going to do? Come find me at SIU Arena? I mean, I wouldn't have put it past my dad. You know what I mean? Be like, I found you. Let's go.
You're coming with me.
Yeah, you're coming with me. But it's like we lived in that area. It's like, what are you going to do? It's like, I'm going to get in trouble when I get home, but I'm not home right now. I'm with my friends at a concert. Guys, let's go out to eat afterwards and drive 55 miles an hour all the way back to Harrisburg. And maybe I can sneak in and not get the cat of nine tails pulled out on me.
Right. Wow. I mean, that would be worth it. Chili Peppers?
Yeah.
Foo Fighters? Are you kidding?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
100%.
I didn't know they played at the arena.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 99 or 2000 Muse was the opener.
Really?
Yep.
Holy cow.
Yep. And then after that, it was just like I started going to shows like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. There's some good ones over there. Pumpkins have been there. Metallica, Def Leppard, Motley Crue.
Wow.
Kiss farewell tour 5 times.
Holy
Kiss
cow.
has been on so many farewell tours.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's amazing. Wow.
Yeah. But there's that, and there's just some old WSIL clips and stuff like that on there.
Oh yeah. Let's check this one out.
In News 3, continue our commitment to being Southern Illinois
There's Jim.
source by adding
Yeah, Jim the Hitman Razor. That dude never missed.
Right.
Man, just a weather genius.
I mean, wow. There he is.
I want to be to sneakers what Jim Razor is to weather.
An icon.
Yes,
right?
he is an absolute icon.
Is he the most like recognizable
100%
Southern Illinoisan?
Yes, he
right?
is.
Little
Yes.
Egypt.
Jim Razor is like, when I think of the superstars of Southern Illinois, it's not those basketball coaches. It's none of the actors or anything is from here. It's Jim Razor, man.
Yeah.
Jim Razor was that dude. And it's like, I could see Jim Razor just like walking somewhere and be like, "Sir, how are you doing? It's a pleasure to see you. You're an icon."
Oh yeah. Total
Yeah.
icon.
Terry Caldwell, he was a big one back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh, cool.
This was a lot of our childhoods, in the early 90s. Our parents didn't miss the news.
Right.
That's
Oh yeah.
was such an important part of their day.
Like, what a cool memory.
Yeah.
This is classic right here.
Communities is evident by the addition of reporters, photographers, producers, facilities,
Love the
and
music.
equipment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Has that official, it almost sounds like a movie.
This is great.
Climax.
This season, WSIL TV and News
Wow.
continue our
There you are.
Yeah.
Wow. Pretty cool.
It's a group right there.
That's a great clip.
Yeah, for sure.
The newsroom. Wow.
Yeah.
Terry Caldwell, there he is. There's Jim.
The Hitman. Mark Kiesling, he's still
Oh
delivering
my gosh,
it.
that was Mark.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Mark Kiesling
With the
still,
stash.
still bringing it out,
Holy
man.
cow.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Dang, that is a throwback. Holy cow.
Yeah, he's a legend too. I mean, he's it's like
didn't
Jim Razor,
recognize
like
him.
Mark Kiesling. Mark Kiesling, he's gonna outrun Jim at WSIL. He might be taking for that top spot eventually.
Wow. It's gonna be tough. Jim's at high.
Jim has brought the goodness.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. Farms, field gardeners.
Yeah. He saved many a crop in his life.
This is awesome.
Yeah,
what
for
a
sure.
cool page here. What a cool
Thanks, man.
story, man. I just love getting to hear it, get to know you more and hear about all these, variety and your passion for this area.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to pull up here? Anything you want to mention? or-
I don't think so, man. I think we covered a lot of ground today,
Yeah.
and it was good coming in here and talking to you and getting to see your awesome building.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I love
So,
having you.
Really blown away by what you got to offer here.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. Have more
podcast?
concerts.
Yes, right. We will. We definitely will.
Okay.
Just had, a couple guys in here. We were trying to do a Halloween one, didn't work out. But we're going to. So just keep an eye out for that. But
Good.
no, I appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
Good to get to hear your story. I'd love to have you back on the podcast sometime.
Absolutely.
Get deeper into the
Yeah,
stuff.
absolutely. Anytime.
I just love the storytelling aspect. This is just amazing storytelling, right? That's what
Thanks, man.
that's what this is,
Thank you.
right?
Yeah,
This is great
it's-
storytelling.
Yes, it's storytelling. That's
Yeah.
all it is. It's the history of Little Egypt.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yep.
So thanks a lot. I mean, is there anything you would say to anyone in your shoes, say, however many years ago, anyone in Little Egypt, maybe that could have been in similar shoes? Anything you want to say to that person?
Don't let your age define what you can do, because I'm 39 years old and I didn't figure out my role in life until I was 36. 36 years old, I figured out that I could be a social media manager and got into marketing, of all things. it's so cliche to say that nothing's impossible, but nothing, everything is literally possible. And don't let being in Southern Illinois, A, bring you down, B, hold you back, because this place is always going to have something to offer for you, whether you believe it or not. And I just have a lot of faith in this area that needs to be more faith in Little Egypt, in Marion, in Carbondale, in all of our little areas. And I hope that eventually people will have the same passion and care about this place as much as I do.
I think that's great. Sure. That was a really awesome piece of advice there.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, it's been great.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, it was a blast coming on.
Do it again.
Yes.
And thanks for listening. Thanks for watching this podcast. Subscribe. Caleb, GoodBirger.
GoodBirger, Southern Illinois, Sabone, Braden Alexander. Shout out to my beautiful wife, Samantha, and my daughter, Veda. Love y'all.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other plugs? Anything someone wants to look at your pages? Can we plug? Can we promote?
Just promote GoodBirger. Just promote GoodBirger, and more importantly, promote Southern Illinois _ in its history, because that's where we live and that's what matters.
Awesome. Yeah. I'll do it. Awesome. Keep it up, man. Keep doing it.
Awesome.
All right. We'll have you on again.
Yes, sir.
And we'll get more into it. More stories.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right.